All right, so we're diving into Python today,
Sounds good.
and specifically we're going to be looking at if statements.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and if statements, they're really crucial in pretty much every programming language out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, they're the way that we control the flow of logic
Right.
in a program and make decisions.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that like once you get it, it's kind of simple, but when you're first starting out, it can be a little tricky.
Oh, for sure.
So we're going to take a look at some material today from the CMU CS Academy course.
Good.
Which is specifically designed for high schoolers who are learning Python.
Very cool.
So if you're in high school, this is definitely for you.
Yeah.
And so one of the examples they use is this idea of drawing a circle on the screen, but only if the mouse click is on the left side of the canvas.
Right. So it's like conditional drawing
Yeah.
based on where the input is.
And so the code snippet they use is if mouse is 200.
Okay, so mouse x, that's a variable that stores the x coordinate of where the mouse was clicked.
Right.
And then 200, I'm assuming that's probably like the halfway point of the canvas or something like that.
Yeah, we can assume that the canvas is 400 pixels wide.
Okay,
So
yeah.
200 would be right in the middle.
Gotcha.
And so what's really important here is this less than symbol.
Right. That's
Yeah.
one of our comparison operators, and it's really important.
And then those parentheses too.
Yes, absolutely. The parentheses.
Why are those there?
Yeah, so the parentheses, they tell Python that, hey, this is a condition that needs to be evaluated.
Okay.
It needs to be either true or false.
So Python knows to like check to see if that statement inside the parentheses is true or false.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Cool.
And then based on that true or false, it will decide whether or not to execute the code that comes after.
So if it's true, it'll run the code.
Yeah,
If it's false, it'll just skip it.
exactly.
Okay. So it's like a gatekeeper.
I like that analogy. Yeah.
A gatekeeper to the code?
Yeah. So like the if statement is the gatekeeper, and that conditional statement inside the parentheses is like the key.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay.
So only if the key fits does the gate open.
I like it. All right.
So what happens when the gate does open?
Yeah. So what happens after that if statement? What does the code look like?
Well, that's where the body of the if statement comes in.
The body.
Yes.
Oh.
So the body is a block of code
Okay.
that is indented, and that indentation is really important in Python.
Okay. So it's not just for looks?
Not just for looks.
Got
It
it.
actually has meaning.
Okay.
So the indentation tells Python what code belongs to the if statement.
So it's like a visual way.
Exactly.
Feels great.
Grouping the code.
Okay.
So anything that's indented under that if statement only gets executed if the condition is true.
Cool.
If the condition is false, that whole block of code gets skipped.
Okay. And in their example, they actually draw not just a circle.
But also a star inside the if block.
Okay. So if the mouse is clicked on the left half of the canvas, you get a circle and a star.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's showing us that we can have multiple actions happen inside the body.
Right. Multiple instructions.
Yeah.
All indented.
All indented under that if statement.
Okay, cool.
So we can do like a whole sequence of things if that condition is true.
Now, what about if we have some code that we want to run no matter what, regardless of the if condition?
That's a great question. And that's where things can get a little tricky sometimes.
Okay.
So the key here is to think about what code is inside the if block versus what's outside of it.
And in our source, they actually show this by moving the code for drawing the star outside of the if statement.
Okay.
In one of their examples.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that means the star is always going to be drawn,
Right.
regardless of where the mouse is clicked.
Exactly.
And the circle is only drawn if the mouse is on the left.
I see. Okay, so like if we think about it visually, like we've got our canvas and there's always a star there.
Yep.
And then if you click on the left side,
Yeah.
a circle appears next to the star.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So that code outside the if block, that's like our default setup.
Right.
It always happens.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the if statement allows us to do something extra.
Only if a certain condition is met.
Exactly.
Cool. I like it.
Okay.
Right. So far we've been talking about like, if the condition is true, this happens.
Right.
But what about if we want to do something different if the condition is false?
That's a great question. And that leads us to our next topic, which is the else statement.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll have to save that for next time.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I think we've covered a lot of good ground here with the basic if statement.
Definitely.
All right, cool. Okay, so we've been talking about if statements
Yeah.
and like these conditions,
Yeah.
but we've only been using that less than symbol.
Right.
So what if we want to like do something else, like check if something's bigger or equal to?
Yeah. So Python has a bunch of other comparison operators.
Okay, cool.
So we've got greater than,
Mhm.
we've got less than or equal to,
Okay.
greater than or equal to.
Wow.
And then we have two very important ones.
Okay.
Equal to,
Oh.
which is,
Double equals.
yes, double equals is very important.
Okay.
And then we have not equal to.
Okay, so that's a lot of new symbols.
It is, yeah. It's a lot to remember, but
Yeah.
once you start using them,
Yeah.
it becomes pretty clear which
Okay.
one you need to use for a specific situation.
So like when would we use that double equals?
So the double equals is when we want to check if two things are exactly the same.
Okay.
So like if we're checking if a player's score in a game is equal to 100, okay, we would use.
Okay, so not just one equals.
Right. So that's common point of confusion when you're first learning to program.
Yeah.
Because we use a single equals to assign a value to a variable.
Right, like with our counter.
Exactly. But when we're comparing,
Yeah.
we want to use double equals.
Gotcha. So single equals is for like setting something.
Yes, setting or assigning.
Okay, and then double equals is for checking if they're the same.
Exactly. So it's a subtle difference, but it's very important.
Yeah, so if I use the wrong one, Python's going to get confused.
Python will get confused and you'll get an error, most likely.
Okay. All right. What about like other common mistakes people make with these?
Well, I think a common one is mixing up greater than and less than.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're first starting out. It's
Yeah.
easy to just kind of flip them around in your head.
Totally, yeah.
So just always double check
Yeah.
that you're using the right one.
Okay, and so like with that counter example,
Yeah.
like we had the background change color after 5 clicks.
Right.
But like, are there other things we could do with that?
Oh, yeah. Tons of things.
Like what?
So like think about a game where you have to collect a certain number of items
Okay.
to like unlock a new level
Okay.
or a special ability.
Mm-hmm.
You could use a counter to keep track of how many items the player has collected.
Okay.
And then when they reach a certain number,
Yeah.
you could use an if statement to trigger something special.
So like, if number of coins is greater than or equal to 10,
Yeah, exactly.
then unlock special jump.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or you could do like a quiz app
Okay.
where you're keeping track of how many questions the user answers correctly.
Right.
And then at the end of the quiz,
Yeah.
you use an if statement to like give them different feedback based on their score.
Oh, that's cool. So like, if score equals 10, then you're a Python master.
Exactly. Yeah. Something like that.
Okay, cool. So like, we can use it to change what happens in the game
Yes, absolutely.
based on like player input or like things that are happening.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of flexibility.
Cool. All right.
So far, we've only talked about like what happens if the condition is true.
Right.
But what if we want to do something else if the condition is false?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That brings us to the else statement.
Okay, cool. So we've talked about like what happens if the condition in the if statement is true.
Right.
But what if we want to do something different
Yeah.
if the condition's false?
So that's where the else statement comes in.
Okay, the else statement.
Yeah.
What is that?
So the else statement basically says, hey, if the if condition is not true,
Right.
then do this other thing.
Oh, okay. So it's like a backup plan.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Okay.
A backup plan for your code.
So like if this happens, then do this.
Right. Do this other thing.
Okay, cool.
So it gives you a way to handle both possibilities.
So let's go back to our canvas example.
Okay.
And let's say we want to draw a square if the mouse click is on the right side of the canvas.
Right.
So how would we do that?
So we would start with our if statement. And our condition would be if mouse x 200.
So greater than 200,
Exactly.
because that's the right side of the canvas.
Yep.
Okay.
And then inside the if block, we would put the code to draw a square.
Okay.
And then we would add an else statement.
Okay. After the if?
Yep, right after the if block.
Okay.
And inside the else block, we would put the code to draw a circle.
Okay. So like if it's not on the right side, then it must be somewhere else. So draw a circle.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
So no matter where the user clicks,
Yeah.
we're going to draw something.
That makes sense. Okay.
Either a square or a circle.
So for like our high school coders out there who are listening to this,
Yeah.
why is this else statement important? Like, why should they care?
Well, I think the else statement is really important because it gives you more control over your program's behavior.
Okay.
It allows you to handle different scenarios
Mm-hmm.
and make your code more robust.
So it's like making sure that no matter what the user does,
Right.
our program knows what to do.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's like having a plan B.
I like it.
Always good to have a plan B.
All right, well, I think this has been a really great deep dive into if statements in Python.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of the key concepts.
Yeah, we've seen how they work, like gatekeepers, checking conditions.
Right.
We've learned about different comparison operators.
Yeah.
We've seen how to use variables and counters.
And the else statement.
And the else statement.
Very important.
Yeah, so for all of you aspiring coders out there,
Yeah.
keep practicing.
Definitely practice makes perfect.
Don't be afraid to experiment.
And have fun.
And have fun. That's the most important part.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Python if statements.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later.